Good evening and welcome to Nite Line once again, and this is a special night tonight, and I know my daughter Toni enjoys this night big time because it's a strength healing night, isn't it?
Healthy living, love to
Healthy
inspire
living.
healthy living.
Yes, and we've got a special guest on with us tonight.
All our guests are special.
They are, but this one's real special, wasn't he?
He is. He is a family friend of mine and Brad's, and met him through our friends Rich and Joanna Butler. So we've just became good friends with their family. So his name is Kenworth Reeves. So we're just excited to have him here with us tonight. He has got an incredible testimony. I'll never forget reading his story and just approaching him about it, and then here we are. I was like, you've got to come on Nite Line and share this to encourage our viewers.
I kept thinking, you were saying so much good about this guy. I'm thinking, I have got to meet this guy, so we're going to get to meet him tonight, and you're going to enjoy him, I know.
Yes.
And we want you to get on the phone and let us know if you have a prayer request tonight, because we're going to be praying at the end of the hour. And, you know, if you're on Facebook, share it with somebody, and let's just keep the gospel going around the world.
Yes.
What do you say?
I always love to encourage on these particular nights with this scripture in 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20. And it says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, is honoring our bodies in a way of recognizing the stress in our life, because stress can bring on physical illness, and you'll learn more about that when we speak with Kenworth. But there's just so many ways that we can reduce stress in our life. So I really wanted to just take this time in the beginning to talk about that.
Yeah, and you say that there is actually 3 signs that your body is in toxic stress. And
Yes.
what can you do about it?
Well, I actually follow Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a Christian Scientist kind of mix, and she uses the Word of God and also the knowledge of just how the body operates. And she spoke a lot on stress and the brain and how the brain reacts to that in your physical body. So I went on her website, and one of the blogs she had was talking about 3 signs that your body is in stress. And one of them is digestive issues. So the mind and the gut are connected. And so happiness, joy, pleasure is all connected to the gut, but also anger, frustration, sadness, anxiety. It's all triggered our bodies with physical reactions. So that also goes to our digestive system. So as a result, when we're stressed, we can often experience digestive issues, whether it's bloating, appetite, loss in appetite, GI issues, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or even just constipation. So when you are recognizing that all of a sudden you're having these GI issues, or you have lost your appetite, then you can kind of just sit back and think, okay, where did this come from? And so one of the other ones, and I've experienced this one, is foggy thinking. If we get stressed about being stressed, and we'll talk about this later in the show too, our brain tends to go into an overdrive, and this can hinder our ability to think reasonably about a situation that we're facing, or whatever's going on in our life. But foggy thinking is also associated with uncontrolled stress.
Right.
So the hypothalamus doesn't tell our brain,
That's a big word.
yes, that our body's okay. And so we're always constantly trying to work in this overdrive to, you know, get our body back to where, you know, our life where it should be, or get ahead of things.
Yes.
So you can also have headaches with foggy thinking, lack of actually being able to just think straight. So if you're experiencing those things, that's also a sign to say, let's get to the root. Why am I having foggy thinking?
Well, what about erratic energy levels now?
Well, that's one of the things that she mentioned as well. So most people experience low energy levels when they're in toxic stress,
Yes.
which impacts their ability to deal with a situation or whatever's going on in your life. But on the other hand, you can also have high energy levels. And so you have this hyper energy level and you're stressed, but this stress and energy, it'll keep you distracted from the problem at hand. So it's kind of a way to ignore the problems that you're facing, which can equally both be destructive, low energy, high energy. So either one will keep you from getting to that root cause of where that stress is coming from.
When I grow up, I want to be just like you, Toni, and have all that information. So what can we do once we recognize the signs of toxic stress in our lives?
Well, when you recognize these signs, there's several things that we can do in our life, and they're all free. We really do this to ourselves. We put stress in our life, but one of the main things is to find the root cause. Mom, this is so important, to find the root cause, to do some self-reflection, look at what you're experiencing. Why am I experiencing this? Functional, nutrition and functional practice is a way that we get to root cause. Instead of looking at, taking ibuprofen for the headache, instead of treating the symptom, we want to find out, why do we have the headache? So that comes from a functional standpoint rather than traditional medicine. So ask yourself, why do I feel stressed? What's happening? How can I change what's happened in my life? How can I change my mindset and those things moving forward? Another thing is to make a plan of action to fix the recognition of that stress in your life. So when you see the situation, what's caused the toxic stress? How can I fix it? For example, here's some things that you can do for stressful experiences. You can improve yourself by helping others in similar situations. Choose to change the negative into a positive. Okay, it's not great, but this is what's happening, but this is what I'm going to do. Like for me, I've been overwhelmed with my son getting ready to go to college. It's been an overwhelming feeling and caused a little bit of stress on me. But what I've done is I've reached out to friends that have experienced this already, and they've been able to give me some advice.
Good idea.
Some steps. So that's helped kind of like, okay, I've relieved some of that stress because now I'm reaching out. So I've taken the negative and I've turned it into a positive. So recognizing those things and kind of shifting that.
And sometimes you just have to chill out, don't you?
You do. And don't claim these things as your identity, because they're not your identity. You have to just chill, give your mind a minute to take a break from whatever it is you feel is stressing your life. That may look like taking a bath, grabbing coffee with a friend, going for a walk, exercising, doing something that's fun to you, something you enjoy doing. That always reduces stress. So being intentional about relaxing. And relaxing doesn't mean sitting on your bed still and breathing in 10 deep breaths. It means doing something that brings joy and is life-giving to you, and that will in turn reduce stress levels.
Right. Now, stress and anxiety can lead to depression, you think?
It can, and you can have physical symptoms from stress and anxiety. You also taking the time to talk to someone when you're stressed can help relieve stress. A friend, a family member. Sometimes I'll talk to you and I'm just venting, knowing I have someone that can listen. Having that person that you feel safe with can help reduce stress as well. Reaching out and helping others is also another way to reduce stress. So there's actually studies have shown that helping others can increase your chance of healing by 63%.
Wow.
So just taking your situation, setting it to the side and recognizing, I'm blessed. Look at this situation. I want to help. Like we're having a serve day coming up at our church, and it's just going to be an opportunity to set things aside in our life to go pour into someone else. And that can be healing to our lives, being able to do that.
What are some of the effects of depression on our bodies?
Well, stress can lead to depression, and depression can cause insomnia, lack of sleep. It can be hard to quiet down your mind. Memory loss, decision making, we've talked about that, foggy thinking, that all comes from stress, but stress triggers depression as well. It makes it hard to make decisions. A weakened immune system, depression can weaken your immune system, and that is, a strong immune system helps you fight off disease. And so when we come to a place where our immune system is, weak because of whatever stress or depression or anxiety, then we could be looking at long-term illness, fatigue, just feeling drained all the time. Depression does that as well.
A lot of good information, Toni. You're talking about helping others.
Well, and and we all have our own issues, like, where I like to be proactive with my health. I don't want to find out something and then try to hurry and fix it. So I love to do things that could just be proactive in our health so that we're fighting disease instead of feeding it. What does my diet look like? Does my diet fight disease? Does it fight stress? Does my activity level fight disease? Does my family life fight disease? My relationships, even unhealthy relationships, can be toxic to your health. Right. So I always say a prayer, Lord, remove the people in my life that aren't supposed to be there and continue to add the people there that are supposed to be there.
You're going to subtract, then add back, huh?
Right, and I've seen him. He's plucked different people. Not that that person is bad or anything. It's just maybe the season had ended for that relationship, and the Lord's moving us both into different directions.
Right.
So lots of information, when this is over, rewind it, listen to it, jot down what you feel like would be beneficial to your life. And we've got a great show tonight. We're going to be showing some recipes of me and Mom in the kitchen. We're going to share
I'm a great cook.
peanut butter banana muffins that are gluten and dairy free.
Do you know what's the most fattening thing about a banana split?
What?
The spoon.
Oh. That's a good one. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know, the Cool Whip, the spoon.
So we're going to have a healthy recipe.
We are. We're going to have healthy recipes for you to enjoy. And as well, we're going to do some yummy ones that are more on the sweeter side, and then one that is going to help you learn how to meal prep and get ready to have easy, healthy meals. So anyway, I'm excited for our guest. Again, we have Kenworth Reeves here tonight talking about his testimony and what the Lord's done. But first, enjoy this recipe. Hi, I'm Toni Suchka with Strength Healing, and this is my mom, Mary Sloan. And today we're going to make some banana peanut butter muffins.
Now, I am definitely looking forward to tasting these.
I have been making these for several years now, and I love them because they are gluten-free and dairy-free.
You've been making them for several years?
Yeah.
Well,
I know you've had one.
if I did, I don't remember.
I've had many friends that have taken the recipe and they've just adopted it in, and they eat them every week. My family enjoys them. We have them for breakfast or even like a sweet treat or a snack that you might want. Yes. And it's healthy. And so I want to show you guys at home how to make these. It has several ingredients, and I love knowing what's in everything that I make, because when we know the ingredients, we know exactly what we're eating.
You just feel healthy, don't you?
It just feels better when I know what the ingredients are. And this is just a whole food, clean eating. This is much better. It's not loaded down with a whole bunch of additives and sugar like those big muffins you can get at the grocery store. Those may taste good in your mouth, but they're not bringing a whole bunch of benefits to your body.
Exactly.
And I love to encourage people to live that healthy lifestyle, because we only have one body. We don't get to exchange it for another, so we have to take care of it. So these are just small tips that you can do to add some healthy recipes to your life. Wow. All right, so some of the ingredients here, we've got raw peanut butter, or you could use any kind of nut butter that you would like.
What do you mean by raw?
Well, what I mean by raw is that it is basically just peanuts and salt. When you look at the ingredients list, it's very important to see what else is in there, what is added. A lot of times peanut butter has added sugars in it. So it may say peanuts, sugar, and then some oils,
I didn't know peanut butter had sugar in it.
Yes.
Is that what makes it so good?
Well, it's good without it. So
Okay, we're gonna see.
I do the raw nut butter. Now you could use almond butter or any cashew butter, but I love peanut butter. It's one of my favorites. And then we've got organic eggs. I like to use organic eggs because we're not what we eat, we're what we eat ate. And if those chickens aren't eating what they're supposed to, like grass and bugs and natural things and free roaming, then you're getting chickens that are filled with antibiotics and hormones. So I like to stick with organic eggs. And I wanted to say this. I was watching this documentary on healthy eating. And one of the things they said about eggs, and if they weren't organic, that frying up a few eggs is almost like smoking a pack of cigarettes. That is how bad that the eggs can be if they're not organic.
Well, I do buy organic
After
eggs.
I heard that, I would sometimes kind of like, I'm gonna get the regular because it's like $2 or $3 cheaper.
Yes.
But my health is worth $2 or $3 extra for those eggs.
I
So
agree, Toni.
we agree on that. I'm
Yes,
glad.
we do.
All right, and so then we have these two ingredients. These ingredients are coconut flour and almond flour. These are the ingredients that's going to make this gluten-free because it's coconut and almond. And the reason I combine the two is because coconut flour is very heavy and dense and almonds a little lighter. And then we also have ripe bananas. We want them to be as ripe as they can. That's going to be easier for baking. And so these will be very sweet. Baking soda, maple syrup, vanilla extract, and I have a very high grade protein powder. I throw protein powder in about everything because if I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna throw some protein powder in there. And then we have raw cacao. All right, so we talked about this before and you said, well, don't you mean cocoa? Well, cacao is the raw form of the cacao bean, no sugar, pure raw, and it has lots of minerals. It has vitamins A, C, and E, and it has magnesium, calcium, iron, potassium. But when we add sugar and milk and additives, that's when it becomes the cocoa powder.
So it's cacao.
Cacao, this is the raw form. So we are gonna put these together. I am gonna start out with my peanut butter. I've got 1 cup, so help me read off what the ingredients and exactly how much. So that was
peanut butter.
1 cup of peanut butter, the raw peanut butter. And I always advise read your labels because, you know, that's where you're gonna see what's going into your body.
3 organic eggs.
3 organic, I advise organic eggs. If your ingredients list is a paragraph long and you can't pronounce half of the words, then I always say put it back. Just put it
3
back.
tablespoons of coconut flour.
So we've got coconut flour here.
And that's gluten-free, and also 6 tablespoons of almond flour, which is gluten-free also.
Yes.
And 3 small ripe bananas, non-organic you've got here.
Well, bananas, you know, you have the clean 15 and the dirty dozen.
Right.
Do you remember what?
I remember
that
because
is?
it has a coating on it, huh?
Right, so the clean 15 are fruits and vegetables that you can afford to buy non-organic because of the hard shell that it has.
Right.
So for instance,
I
if you're
remember
looking to buy organic but you really want to save in areas, then you want to choose the proper fruits and vegetables to buy. Like strawberries, you definitely want to buy organic strawberries. But like pineapples, it has the hard shell, or avocados, or bananas, you can afford, if you need to skip the organic there.
Okay, 3/4 of a teaspoon or tablespoon?
Teaspoon.
Teaspoon of baking soda.
Baking soda.
1/4 of a cup of maple syrup.
Got that.
1 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
I'm gonna eyeball that.
1 scoop of protein powder.
So this is a very high grade protein powder, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. So I like to add that in to get just a healthy protein as well.
2 tablespoons of cacao powder.
Cacao. So we're gonna get lots of good minerals and vitamins with that. All right, so we've got all of our ingredients. I'm gonna go ahead and start to blend this up. So now we've got all that mixed together. We're gonna put it in the muffin tin. Yes. So you're gonna bake these on 350 for about 20 minutes until you can kind of stick a fork through it and it come out without any batter. So I'm just gonna do a couple of these and then show you a little extra yummy thing I do to it. So I've got chocolate chips. This is what's gonna make it just so fabulous. Now these are 60% dark chocolate. I can't seem to find dark chocolate chips that are any darker than 60%. So there's still like only a couple grams of sugar for like 6 of them. So what I do is I'll take about 5 or 6 and I'll just kind of sprinkle them on the top, and you kind of have to push them down into that batter a little bit. And then you'll bake those, like I said, 20 minutes on 350, and then they turn out like this.
Okay.
So
we get to taste these?
let's taste it.
Okay.
These I think are so good. Now, one thing that I love to do with these is I get more peanut butter. And I spread peanut butter all
I always
over
do
them.
that too. You put a
So,
little bit more on it?
I do. So taste it and tell me what you think. But I get a knife and I'll sit at the kitchen table and I'll just put peanut butter on each little bite.
They're good, very good like they are, but nothing like a little extra peanut butter, huh?
Well, we have some here, so.
They're good,
like those?
Toni. And you know, that's sort of what I like in the morning with coffee. I'm not a person that gets up and has the grits and the eggs and all that stuff. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. So this would be
This is a great option
very
to have.
nutritious.
It's got a high quality protein in it. It's got a healthy fat in it from the nut butter. And so they are dense. So they're about 150 calories. So it's not something you want to sit down and eat 3 or 4 at a time. But they are
Right.
dense and they do kind of satiate you and keep you full for longer
Would be
amounts of
great
time.
with a cup of coffee.
So if you've enjoyed this recipe, you can find it on my website at strengthhealing.com. You can subscribe and get my newsletter, or follow me on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Strength Healing. I just want to encourage you to live a healthy lifestyle. Small changes made one day at a time is what improves your health. Well, those look good, right, Mom?
Ooh, they sure did.
I make those kind of often at home, so I'm going to have to get home and whip up a batch of
You
those.
gonna invite me over when you make them?
Sure, I'll make you some to put in your freezer. You can freeze those as well.
Good.
So we have a guest I'm super excited to share with you today. He is not only just a guest here on Nite Line, but he is a family friend of mine and Brad's. So I'm just honored that he's here today. His name is Kenworth Reeves. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I
It's an
appreciate it.
honor. I appreciate it.
I'm excited for everyone to just kind of hear your story and just be encouraged from it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to read a little bit about Kenworth so you know kind of his background. He's a family man, I can say that firsthand. He's an entrepreneur and an avid traveler. That's also something I've seen. He is the founder of TKG Ventures, which is a private real estate investment company, as well as a partner investor and an advisor in several other companies. He is also an active board member at World Hope, a multifaceted Christian ministry doing amazing work in Kenya and other parts of the world. So, Kenworth, I'm just so honored, like I said, that you have taken the time to be with us today and share your story, because I know it's a story that probably took some time to get to a place where you're at right now. We've been talking about stress and how it affects our health. You have a firsthand experience of that with extreme stress, depression, loneliness. So why don't you share with us a little bit what happened with you back in 2016?
Sure. Yeah, so back in 2016, life was, I was, like you said, I'm a family man, entrepreneur, which means, I think I like my plates full. And I think, like a lot of us, we can cram a lot into a little bit of time. At that time, I was building several companies. I was see, I had 4 children at the time. Find out we're pregnant with our 5th, a little bonus baby, and
Grace.
decided to move. And I think just all of that at one time, I was just under an immense amount of stress and pressure, and pressure to perform, because back then I had a couple of startups that I really needed to get off the ground. And so all of that in my head and heart and everything going on, it was just a lot. There was a lot going on. And I'm a pretty chill guy. You and Brad know that. But I think I just internalized it maybe. And it wasn't until 2016, I look in the mirror one day and I'm missing a patch of hair. And it kind of worried me. I had scruff and I had dark hair, and I just had a little patch of hair missing. And I really didn't think anything of it. And then another patch shows up, and then it just continued. And ultimately, it became what's called alopecia areata, which is it's an autoimmune condition that creates small patches of hair loss. Guys and girls both get it. Often it comes back, but sometimes the prognosis becomes alopecia totalis, meaning when it goes from small patches of hair to total hair loss. And so I sort of walked this journey, like I just began to lose my hair. And so from basically January of 2016 to August of 2016, I lost all of my hair. And I had great hair.
You did. We have a picture that they can pop up of just like the before and at the process too.
Okay. So it was a certain look. Oh yeah, look at that guy. So there was just a certain look, and my look was a part of, like all of us, it's a part of our image.
Yeah.
It's a part of our brand, and it's a part of our identity. And so going from that guy to that guy was a process.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot. And I'm a highly social guy. I love being out. I love traveling. I love being with my family and friends, and always at events with people and coffees and lunches. And I hit this period where I started to lose so much hair. Like I'd wake up and there's hair on my pillow. I'd shampoo my hair and it would just come out in my hands. And so.
And during all of this, you're still experiencing extreme stress just in life in general.
Oh yeah, and then this happens and it's worse. And then it's in your head.
And you're stressing over the stress.
That's right. You're stressing over, oh my gosh, how much hair am I actually losing? And so I became sad and depressed. And that's not my style. It never happened before. But I sort of stopped showing up. I pride myself on being a family man and a community guy. And I just stopped showing up. I stopped showing up to the breakfasts and coffees and dinners. And I even got to a place where I retreated from my family. I just didn't want to see anybody. I was just so sad and sort of broken about this, and I couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
And, I like to fix things, and I couldn't fix this. I like to control things. I couldn't control it. And so, ultimately retreated from my family, and that's when I hit my sort of darkest point. But then coming out of that, I said, this is a bad story, and I love good stories. So I said, I can't keep living here. This is not going to work. This is terrible. I'm running from something that's happening to me every single day. I can't do this.
What was the amount of time that you had? Like, was it months of where you were treated and was kind of experiencing isolation?
Months, yeah, which felt like years.
Yeah. Well, we know now what a small 2 weeks can feel like.
That's right. Yeah,
with
exactly.
everything we've experienced. So I can't imagine just that heaviness of, someone like you who is a personality who is an extrovert and loves to be with people.
Yes.
Retreating to a place of not wanting to be with anyone.
That's right. And so I just decided, instead of running from my story, I'm going to run to it. Yeah. And as hard, as fast as I can. And I sat up one night. I cracked my laptop on the kitchen island, and I just started emailing and like everybody I knew. Said, hey, Tony, how you doing? Let's grab coffee. And I went so far the opposite way to where I showed up and I was with people, but I showed up looking like that guy. I got hair falling out. I looked crazy, and I just showed up. I said, this is where I've been in a dark spot. This is what I'm dealing with. I kind of had to show up and say, these are all my cards. There was no more hiding for me.
Yeah.
And so, it turned out nobody laughed at me. Nobody pointed at me. Nobody in fact, they cared more about me then than I think ever before. And I think we could just believe certain lies that start to seep in, that we aren't good enough without our hair, we aren't enough without our good looks, or our, whatever it is for each of us. And that's not true. And I think for me, I had to really learn that process of identity and who was I. And it took me losing my hair to start really, truly understanding what that meant.
I think you made a statement like that. Losing my hair, at least for me, meant losing my identity. And then your journey was completely transformed through
That's right.
that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, we think we know who we are, and then something bad happens, something tough happens, and it rattles our cage. And then where's our faith? Like, where's our hope? Where's our trust? And my family, I'm big in these ideas. Like, and how could I preach to my kids and show my kids this is who we are as a Reeves family? Like, we believe in community and hope and faith in God and trusting the community. And here I am, crumbling under the weight of just losing a little bit of hair. It was terrible. So did I really believe all the things that I thought that I believed?
That's good.
And I had to answer these questions. And I had to come to a swift reality of who am I and who I am under God. And that's where I came to. I realized that I'm first and foremost a son of God. And that's it. As simple and elementary as that is, it's one thing to say it. I know it 1,000% now, more than I've ever known it in my entire life. And I have that in my heart now, and it can never be taken away. So I have more confidence in Christ than I've ever had, ever.
Yeah.
And it changed me at my core.
That's awesome. We never know that the journey we're on, if we can stop and say, God, what do you want to teach me in the process? Like, let me learn from this. We all go through different situations that are stressful, but what you did, and you mourned and had your time, but then you quit grabbing hold of those lies and you started believing, I am, I'm a prince.
That's
I'm
right.
the son of a king.
That's right.
So that's awesome.
And I look like a prince even without hair, right? I'm just kidding.
That's
And
right.
a lot
That's right.
of men shave their head that have a full head of hair,
That's
But
right. I
that
don't
wasn't
understand
for
those
you
guys
then.
now.
I don't either.
Brad would do it in a heartbeat just to not have to fix the curly head of hair. So you talked about your family. I want to show a picture of Kenworth's family. They have 5
Wow.
beautiful children, that little bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So I've just really loved getting to know your family. I love Allison, and it's just been such a joy to have you guys in our life. Tell us a little bit about how this affected your family life and your marriage.
Yeah, well, I think on the marriage front, it was tough for Allison because she didn't know how to help me. She didn't know how to even, when I got to this place, there was nothing she could say that could make me feel better.
Yeah.
Like, I was just so deep in my own world. I think that was heartbreaking for her. And for my family, my kids were little, but they weren't, Hugh was 10. I'm a pretty happy guy, pretty consistently. And my cadence changed so radically. They knew Dad was messed up. They knew something was going on with him. And I think seeing the transformation and sort of the super bloom of community that happened with and around my family, and all the support and all the love and kindness, and the sort of change in me, I think it shaped them and how they see their, themselves.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome.
That's good.
Now, didn't you have friends that shaved their heads? How'd that make you feel?
Oh, loved. That made me feel absolutely loved.
I think we got a photo of that too. I just thought that was so cool.
And yeah, so Gene Kraselic and Jared Emerson, both local guys. Jared's a well-known artist in town, and he had, guy looks like...
Well, one of them had like completely long hair. Like it wasn't
Long.
like they were just shaving a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, you're like the Christian Fabio. You're going to uniquely know what it feels like to sort of not be known for a little bit. Because I'd walk downtown, people wouldn't recognize me. And so Jared shaving his head kind of meant a lot for both of them, but he uniquely understood what it meant to now walk down the street and people didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome. And my sons did it with me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. What is one of the things that you felt like was one of the biggest changes you experienced that you continue to implement today in your life?
I think it's just a steady confidence that I know who I am. No matter what, my job doesn't define me, my companies don't define me, my relationships don't define me. That all helps, and that all builds a narrative of my life and the life that I want to design and live for myself, but it's who I am, and it's my identity in Christ that has just rooted me at such a deep level that, that's my access point now. And I've never had that before. And so
So good, because
that carries
identity
me.
is so important. I speak that to my kids all the time. And, when they come home and they share stories of, whatever drama might be happening between friends and whatnot. And I'm like, it's all about knowing who you are in Christ.
That's
Yes.
The identity of who you are. And that changed me. I was like, I don't want y'all to be in your 30s when you figure it out.
That's right. Sooner the better. Come on.
When I understood, who Jesus was and what grace meant,
Yeah.
it really opened my eyes at who he sees me as.
That's right.
So, so encouraging.
Yes.
We're going to be back speaking with Kenworth some more, but before that, Mom and I are in the kitchen, and we want to share a healthy recipe with you, and it's how to just meal prep and have a healthy salad in a jar. Hi, I'm Toni Suchka with Strength Healing, and I love to inspire healthy living. And this is my mom, Mary Sloan, and she's going to
Yes.
help me put some salad in a jar
I think I can
together
do
today.
this, Toni. I can do this.
Do you know, one of the things that's so popular these days is to meal prep. And that is kind of half the battle. If you can meal prep and be prepared for your week, then you can move into the week knowing that you have some healthy options ahead.
Well, I had never heard of salad in a jar until I came to your house one day, and you had several women there, and I learned all about a salad in a jar.
Well, it's a great way to get a lot of nutrients. Again, we want to eat the rainbow of vegetables and fruits, because each vegetable and fruit has different phytonutrients in it so that we can get the nutrients in our body. Like, for example, the tomato, it's red. It gets its red color from the phytochemical called lycopene. And lycopene has had studies that have shown that it fights against cancer.
Wow.
And so each vegetable and fruit has things, different chemicals in it, different nutrients in it, so that we can help stay healthy. The Lord has given us all these fruits and vegetables in different seasons for reasons, so that we can use them for our health and to
Right.
benefit our health.
And we're all learning more every day about them.
And this salad in a jar is a great way to meal prep. It's a great way to get the 3 most important things you want in every meal. I call it FFP: fat, fiber, and protein. So you want to get a healthy fat, you want fiber, which you'll get from all of your vegetables, and then you want a good protein as well.
And then
So-
you've got the seeds too, huh?
Yes, we have sunflower seeds. And there is reasoning behind putting a salad together. You can't just throw it in there however you like. There's actually reasoning so that the salad will last about 5 to 7 days in your refrigerator.
So what do we do first?
So the first thing we want to do is put our salad dressing in the bottom of our jar. Now, I have 2 different jars here. The wide mouth jar is the best because it's the easiest. Now, this salad dressing is one that I bought. It's a very clean dressing. It's called Green Goddess salad dressing. And it only has about 6 ingredients. So it's a very clean dressing. It's also dairy and gluten free. So if that's something that you're
good.
watching. So this is one, you want to put maybe just a couple tablespoons in the bottom of your jar, because you'll be surprised of how much that small amount will actually cover in your salad. So I'm just gonna pour, I'm gonna eyeball that couple tablespoons in the bottom of that. And then you can also make your own dressing. I love to make my own dressing because that way I know what is in it. So I'm gonna use this one. This is like a honey vinaigrette that I made. It only has 4 ingredients. It's got apple cider vinegar, olive oil, maple syrup, and Dijon mustard. So now we've got our dressing in the bottom. There's a reason for that. We want to keep it away from our greens. So what I'll do, Mom, is I'll start it and explain what we're doing here, and then you can finish it off.
Okay.
We've got Brussels sprouts here. Here, we'll go ahead and do it together.
Okay.
So Brussels sprouts are a cruciferous vegetable, and just like cauliflower or broccoli or cabbage, these
We're gonna
kinds
use all of it?
you can, however much you want for your salad. So these kinds of vegetables can withstand being on top of the dressing. It's gonna absorb it and it won't wilt because it's a harder vegetable. Cruciferous vegetables are great for hormonal health. They're great too if you have excess hormones that are causing mood swings, depression, anxiety. Cruciferous vegetables will detoxify your body and get rid of those excess hormones.
How'd you get so smart?
Studying a lot, doing a lot of research, and learning from a lot of people around me.
Good.
So this carrots, I know they're great color. I'm just gonna add some carrots into my salad here.
We might as well use them all. We got them here.
May as well.
Yeah.
You only wanna fill up your jar halfway with ingredients, okay? We've got to
gotcha.
keep room, so people get excited and they wanna fill that jar up to the top. So I'm gonna put just a few tomatoes to give this pretty red color. You're letting them all slide around.
So how many? About 4?
About 4 is good.
Okay.
So now we have the cruciferous vegetables on the bottom, and now we're putting the softer vegetables on top of that, which are the tomatoes. Got some cucumbers here. I'm just gonna put a couple spoonfuls of that, and you can add
Okay.
that. And then we've got some pomegranates, which is gonna bring another beautiful color and add a little bit of sweet.
This is great
sweetness.
for people to take for lunch, isn't it? You know?
Yes, and these salads are really big. When you empty them into a bowl, you'll be surprised at how big these salads are. They could be a complete side for your whole
And
family.
how long does it last in the refrigerator?
About 3 to 5 days.
Wow.
So now we have all of our
Oh,
vegetables.
we gotta use all day. Yeah.
And now I want to add a protein. This is chicken, cut up chicken. So you could add tuna, salmon, you could do black beans, chickpeas, lentils, whatever protein. Hard-boiled eggs are a great option.
Yes.
So I'm just going to take some of this chicken here and add a little protein to this salad. And then we also, I love to add another healthy fat that we could add. Here's some seeds. You could do avocados, you could do olives, but I have some sunflower seeds here. I'm just gonna sprinkle on top because I love a little crunch in my
I
salad.
do too. That takes the place of them crackers, huh?
Yes, you could do almonds or walnuts, any kind of nut or seed. And then here is feta cheese. You could do feta cheese, goat cheese, Parmesan cheese.
I love feta cheese.
Or you could keep it dairy-free
I'm not a
and
great
not
lover
do
of goat cheese.
any cheese. I enjoy goat cheese. So you can just sprinkle a little bit on top here. And like I said, you want to make sure that your jar is only about half full with your ingredients.
Oh goodness, I'm making a mess.
All right, so our last ingredient, what we want to fill to the top, is our greens. You can use any green you'd like, mixed greens, spinach, kale, but the key here is to stuff the greens in this jar. Keep pushing them down because this is the green goodness here that we want to keep in our jar.
So if you made up several of these, you could have one to take every day for lunch, couldn't you? Because it lasts about 3 or 4 days.
Yep. And like I said, they're really, really big. They last a lot longer than you would think. And why do you think they last longer? Because
Cruciferous.
the cruciferous is on the bottom, on top
Thank
of
you.
the
Right.
dressing.
Uh-huh.
And our greens are not going to touch the dressing.
Is that enough?
Yep. So how pretty is that?
Wow.
And you can do different themed salads. You could do like a Southwest salad with, grilled corn, or you could put a Mediterranean salad, anything that you'd want to put together. As long as they stay upright in your refrigerator like I said, they'll last 3 to
Now,
5
what
days.
do you do before you take them out? Do you shake it so the dressing will get?
You just take the jar, take the lid off, and when you unload it, all the greens will be on the bottom, all the ingredients, and then the dressing on
and
the
if
top.
you need a little bit more dressing,
you
you've
add
got
it. You can always add, but you can't take away.
That looks great, Tony.
Aren't those pretty?
Wow.
So I hope that this has helped give you some ideas of how you can meal prep and get more
Yes.
nutrients into your body. You can find ideas and recipes like this on my website at strengthhealing.com, or you can follow me on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Strength Healing. Small changes made one day at a time is what improves your health.
Now, aren't you glad I taught you how to make salads?
Well, Mom, appreciate the spaghetti and sloppy joes more. That's
Well,
what I
you
grew
have
up
to
on.
intermingle it all together.
Chase and
know.
Addison said, "Is that really all you ate growing
Oh,
up?" And I was
shut
like,
up.
"Well, cube steak on Sunday
Maybe some fried chicken.
from KFC."
Oh.
We like to have fun with each other.
Yeah, this is just fun. She don't mean a bit of it.
Well, if you're just joining us, we have a friend of mine here, Kenworth Reeves, who's been sharing his story of just kind of what he went through with stress and how it affected his life. And he ended up with an autoimmune condition called alopecia. So he shared a little bit about that. So Kenworth, we know that stress can affect us in so many ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually. How do you stay in a positive state of mind while you're still on this journey with this autoimmune condition?
Great question. I think paying attention is one of them. Like paying attention to what for me, like I want to know, well, what drains my batteries, right? And am I taking on too much work? And then I think a sort of third piece of that is rest. I think we don't take enough time to rest. And rest could be even play. It could be golfing, fishing, cooking, or frying chicken, whatever it is. Like it could be any of these things. But knowing what recharges you and how to find true rest, I think is a big piece. And then just being aware of what we're taking on and saying yes to. And because I think, well, I am very good at saying yes to a lot. And so I can say yes to too many things and put too much undue stress on me and my wife, my family and kids. So I think just paying attention and taking stock of, what my life is looking like at a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and kind of finding a better rhythm in life.
I know one of the things, I'm a yes person too, because I don't want to disappoint anybody, and I also don't want to miss out.
That's right.
And I'm an extrovert, and I want to be a part of everything. And I find that too many yeses to even good things is not a good thing.
That's right.
Even though they're all fun, you find yourself tired mentally, physically.
That's right.
Your family's tired, or you've been a better friend than a wife or mom or husband
Right.
or spouse. And I read a book a few years ago that really changed my perspective. And one of the lines in the book was saying no to the good so you could say yes to the great.
Ooh, I
And
like
it
that.
really has impacted me, and it was from that point on I started learning how to say no. I don't think that's my best yes
Yeah.
for me.
I like that.
So it's really made a difference, and it can reduce that stress in your
Yeah.
life.
Well, what would you say to the person that's their life is full of stress and distractions?
Distractions. It's easy to get distracted in 2021. There's a lot of distractions out there, a lot of things out there, fighting for our attention. And I think, what we get what we focus on in life, though.
Right.
So where is your focus? And if you want to change the direction of your life, I think you change what you focus on. And that's going to inherently, if you're smart about it, it's going to decrease distractions. It's going to say no to the good things so you can say yes to the great things. And just get better at making, sort of taking a mental stock of what really has our attention and focus, for me has been, a game changer.
Well, how would you encourage someone that might be watching tonight that is experiencing health issues and realizing it's coming from stress, or maybe they don't realize it that it's coming from stress, but health issues are, in their life, and they don't really know what to do or where to turn.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had never had any health issues in my entire life until I started losing my hair. And, I met with all the doctors. I met with holistic doctors. I met with the Bosley Hair Institute, which is the Rolls Royce of, hair replacement sort of organizations. And, hearing their lead doc look at me in the face and say, Kenworth, I hate to tell you this, but the way you're going to lose all of your hair, was just like a kick drum in my heart. And, so I've been there. I get it. I think for me, I just had no choice but to turn to God and just to rely on Him for His strength and His peace. And so for me, it was, again, attention and focus that redirected my heart towards Christ in a way that it's really probably hadn't been before that. And, just sort of carries me to where I am today. So I think, getting back to a relationship with Him and a true reliance on His strength is important.
And then probably, the people in your life. What kind of people are in your life? Maybe those that are, I know we've talked in the past about you have, I guess what you call like thrusters and people who encourage and uplift, and then you have the other ones who kind of drag you down, like noticing and recognizing the people in your life. How helpful was that for you when you finally did decide, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to email my friends, I'm going to meet with them one right after another? How helpful was that, just healing, to tell your story to someone else?
Incredibly healing. I think things happen, words have power. What we speak matters. And when we share our stories with one another, it's just a deeper level of connection. And at first it's scary because you don't want to tell people what you're dealing with. But we're supposed to. We're supposed to live in this sort of scary space, this true community where people do really know who you are. And, that's really what we want as humans. We want to be known. We want to be loved. We want to be seen. And, we probably want to be cared for at some level. And I think it's funny because the very thing that we want, to be truly known and loved, we also are scared of it too, because it's scary. Letting somebody truly know what you're dealing with, for me, was an autoimmune condition that I can't control. I look crazy. I'm going to lose all my hair. It's incredibly tough. It's a very vulnerable state when I like to be strong, and I couldn't. I had to show up and I was weak and sort of fragile. But what inevitably happened was people didn't, like I said, laugh or point or make. They actually would listen to the story. They'd feel for you, and then they'd say, I hate that you're dealing with that, but can I share something with you? And they would turn around and they'd share something with me. And these are people I've known in the community for years. So I think it just gives sort of permission for people to really connect on a different level, to share our stories, and that's comforting. And you realize that, everybody's kind of dealing with something.
Yeah.
And we can all get through it because we can get through it together.
I know when you first shared with me about your story, and I think because I had read your story on social media, and I approached you. We were at a dinner, with friends, and it just spoke so much to me because I have an autoimmune condition as well, to where it's kind of opposite. It's where, what's wrong with you? You look fine, but inside I don't always feel well.
Right.
And so it's been kind of opposite of, sometimes I feel sick, but you look normal, you know. So that's been something that I've been able to just kind of research and learn more about, and then being able to connect with other people, because I know other people have alopecia as well.
That's right.
Who have been able to grow some of their hair back and get some of that into remission. But it can be a lot on your lifestyle, changing your lifestyle quite a bit. But I know I told you that day, I know you've had some hair growth that's coming back.
That's right.
And
it's trying.
Just continuing to believe for complete physical healing, but I know that the Lord has brought such mental healing to you and being able to share your story. And I just, again, feel so honored that you're here today and being vulnerable just to share this with our viewers tonight. We've got people that call in. We have prayer partners that are here, and people call in every night for prayer. It could be for physical, relational, finances, any area in their life that they just feel like they need someone to partner with them in prayer. So I would love for you to just look into the camera,
Sure.
minister to whomever's watching, and just pray over our viewers tonight.
Awesome. I can do it.
All right.
Yeah. Well, Lord, we love you. Thank you so much for this time together. Thanks for this show. Thanks for being with us. And thanks for just calling us and knowing who we are. Lord, I just pray to whoever's watching, however the story affects them or speaks to them, God, that you saw me, you see us, and you certainly see them, God. So we just pray that you would meet them where they are, that they would come to know who they are in you, and they would take complete confidence in that, and they would give them perfect peace, whether they're dealing with financial, spiritual, mental, or any kind of health issues, God, that you would just be with them and you'd guide them and you would lead them well like you do. And we just pray in Jesus' name, and we love you.
Amen.